What's up, guys? Welcome to the first video on this channel. We're going to look at Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Heat. Specifically, we're going to look at the last 5 minutes. This game came down to the wire. It was an absolute battle. And I think the last 5 minutes are really going to allow us to see the crucial adjustments that both the coaches and players make down the stretch to try to win the game for their team. So let's get started. Down the stretch of pretty much any game, the Lakers are going to go to LeBron the pick and roll as the ball handler. Against the Heat specifically, LeBron wants to attack Herro and Robinson because he knows they can't switch and it's going to force Miami to hedge. And the Lakers are ready for that hedge. They've got all their players flat on the baseline with the goal of leaving the top of the key open for Danny Green to set this quick little ghost screen and then pop to the top of the key. And it's a really hard close for Crowder. He can't leave the corner and Herro's got to come from the top. Next, the Heat are going to get a 4-on-3 break off the rebound. And I just want you to notice how powerful shooters are in transition. Danny Green has to close Robinson out all the way outside the three-point line, and it's going to lead to an open layup. Next play down, Lakers come to the same ghost screen action with the rest of the players flat on the baseline. But the Heat have made an adjustment. Bam is going to be at the elbow now, which allows him to take away that pop to Morris and also play in the passing lane to the shooter in the corner. It's a great adjustment. Danny Green started in the short corner in the pick and roll and has stayed there, which is bad spacing, and it allows Herro to close the gap quickly across the lane and cut LeBron off in the air. And he's not expecting the help to get there that fast, so he's obviously frustrated at the end of the play. What the Heat go to here is going to be their staple down the stretch. They want to get this Morris switch onto Jimmy, and they know that the Lakers are willing to give that to them. They've been doing it all game. So as Jimmy attacks, I want you to look at Robinson in the weak side corner here. KCP and Caruso are just going to turn to face the ball, not even fall asleep on defense, and he's just going to walk them right into each other. It's great movement without the ball, and all he needs is that half a second to get the shot off. And plays like that are so deflating to a defense. You can see how frustrated they are at the end of the play. Lakers are going to go back to that ghost screen / pick and pop action. This time they've made an adjustment. The screen is going to come from the corner. It's going to put a lot more pressure on the help because Bam is not going to be able to get all the way across the lane. And in theory, KCP should be wide open. The problem is that it's a really awkward roll for him. He's going back to the same spot that he set the screen from, and he doesn't get a chance to turn his hips to the basket till right when he's catching the ball. It's an unnatural motion, and it makes it a tough shot. However, it's still a Lakers ball, and they're going to bring LeBron as the screener to switch it up a bit. Robinson's going to try to go over this, but look at how LeBron opens up as he's setting the screen and make Robinson cover a lot more ground to get over. This leaves Jimmy on the island for a lot longer than he'd want to be. But he's very square to Caruso as he's trying to guard two, which makes it really easy for LeBron to take this angle to attack his outside foot, and Caruso recognizes that, hits him early. Bam and Crowder aren't in help position at all, and all that Jimmy can do is foul to prevent an easy layup. Heat are going to get to that same pick and roll. Again, they just want this Morris switch, and Jimmy wants to attack that. He's one of the best in the NBA at drawing fouls, and I think that's what he was trying to do here. But Morris does a great job getting his hands off during the gather, which is really important because if you have your hand anywhere near Jimmy on this play, he's going to bump you and pin your hand to his elbow and then gather through that hand. And that's going to draw a foul every time. And so Morris obviously looked at tape and knows that that's coming and does a great job getting his hands off. While it may look like the Lakers are running the same ghost screen, pick and pop type action over and over again, they're actually making a lot of adjustments to make it more effective. Remember last time KCP came from the corner and rolled back to the corner on this side pick and roll? This time he's going to come from the top, still with the Lakers all overloaded on one side, and his roll to the corner is going to be wide open. This offense leads to the only possible person to close him out as Miami center, guarding Anthony Davis. Unfortunately for them, that happens to be Bam, who makes a great effort play and closes that gap. It's still an open shot, but Bam's effort might have saved his team 3 points. I think Spoelstra wanted the Heat in the set here, but I'm not sure that all his players are on the same page, and I'm not sure the set is properly executed. Still, the general premise was for Bam to get the ball in the high post, some down screens to be set for Robinson so he can come off Bam's handoff and catch and shoot. And that's still more or less what happens. Caruso is a step behind after Jimmy's screen, which forces Morris to jump out and double the ball. Bam rolls and kind of pulls AD down, which leaves Jimmy wide open at the top of the key. But that pass is really bad and it's going to throw him out of rhythm if he tries to take that shot. So I really like that he took one dribble to get his rhythm back and hits a great shot. Lakers go back to the pick and roll, but this time they're going to bring Anthony Davis. Crowder and Jimmy have switched ball screens the entire series, and I'm sure that LeBron knows that, which makes me feel like he wanted this switch with Crowder, and so he's going to attack that. And I love how patient LeBron is when he gets the switch he wants. Watch how he lets Caruso switch places with KCP, distract the weak side a little bit, and then boom, he attacks. And still, I mean, pretty much perfect defense by Miami, just a better finish. With a minute left, the game plan still hasn't changed for the Heat. They're trying to get this switch with Morris onto Jimmy. They set a couple of ball screens because Morris is guarding Crowder now instead of Bam, but they still get the same result. And man, watch Jimmy get into his bag of tricks here. He's going to motion for a ball screen and then back up like one's coming, and Morris is going to completely stand up out of his stance. And then that's all he needs to blow right by him. Morris makes a nice recovery baseline, but Jimmy had him beat a long time ago. Fancy footwork and a nice shot. Not a lot of X's and O's on this play, but LeBron's just the best player on the court, and he's going to act like it. And what he does here is really cool. He's going to split his legs to attack at the same time that the ball bounces, all while clearing Jimmy with the off arm. And timing all of those things together just gives him that extra inch he needs to turn the corner. And still, he's 1-on-3 at the rim, but at the end of the day, he just wants it more. Part of what makes Jimmy Butler a great player, or makes any player great, is that they keep the defense on their toes. And despite the fact that he's gone to this pick and roll to get the Morris switch a lot in the last 5 minutes, he's still ready to keep the defense honest. And unfortunately for the Lakers, AD plays very undisciplined pick and roll defense here. When you're planning on switching, as the person guarding the ball initially, you have to make sure that your man uses the screen so that you can get a proper switch off. If he denies the screen and goes the other way, there's no help behind you, and that's exactly what Jimmy Butler is able to do. And I love that he goes to finish with the left hand, knowing that's the side Morris is on, and he's more likely to get a foul there. LeBron wants basically the same thing as he did last play. He's just going to take Jimmy to the post and try to create some offense himself. This time, Jimmy's going to be playing a lot more on his high shoulder, knowing that LeBron drove middle last time on him. And they're going to send the double from Iggy at the top. It's going to leave a lot of players open. I think this ball should have gone to Caruso personally, but still, the fact that Caruso is that open makes Bam, who's currently boxing AD out, feel like he has to close out the corner, and it's going to leave AD wide open underneath. And it's not directly a product of LeBron, but it all starts from the double he drew. Down one out of the timeout, Spoelstra draws up a play purely to take advantage of the Lakers switching. He brings in Crowder from LeBron's left. Morris thinks that's where the screen's going to come from, and comes out to switch high. Crowder then shifts to LeBron's right and sets the screen there, essentially taking both of them out of the play. This play design manufactures the situation we saw previously where Jimmy was able to beat Anthony Davis to the middle, away from the screen. This time, the screen is set in the middle, and the Lakers aren't ready for it. And Spoelstra was able to keep plays like this in his back pocket because of how effective Jimmy Butler was in that 1-on-1 matchup to end this game. Even still, sometimes you need a little coaching. This is the last play of the game, basically, and one that was really controversial on social media afterwards. But when you look at it in the context of the last 5 minutes, you remember that this ghost screen action is what the Lakers went to pretty much the entirety of this last 5 minutes. Specifically, this play with Danny Green coming to set the screen, all the Lakers on the baseline flat, was actually the first play they ran in this video. And then 2 plays later, the Heat countered it by putting Bam Adebayo in that same position that Iggy is in now on the elbow, able to play the 2 passing lanes. And the thing is, LeBron knows all this. He was playing the game. And so when he's driving here, he's not really driving to score. He's driving to move Iggy off that elbow spot because that's what countered the play last time. And once he gets him to flatten down, he can then kick the ball out to Danny Green for a wide open shot. Could have been a better pass. And yeah, he could have made it, but the play is right and the decision making is correct. This was one of my favorite games to watch all year, and I hope I was able to do it justice by showing the little decisions that coaches and players have to make and the adjustments that are made constantly on the floor or in timeouts. It's the NBA Finals, and these players and coaches are giving it their all. Some really good basketball being played. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it.